A 2021 Duke University, Sanford School of Public Policy Research paper examined 10 major data brokers in the U.S. They found data brokers openly and explicitly advertise information on millions of people, commonly advertising thousands or tens of thousands of sub-attributes on each of those individuals, including current location, places visited, demographics, web browsing history, personal activities, and life preferences, such as politics, travel, banking, healthcare, consumer habits. Much of this information originates from companies and institutions that we're supposed to trust who claim to be representing our best interests. Worst of all, it's largely legal. If you are not already creeped out, it's about to get much worse. But first, let's take a brief look back a few years and analyze how we got to this point, analyze the multitude of ways organizations acquire your detailed information, and then analyze a few disturbing and controversial data usage examples. While cookies are becoming obsolete, they created the framework for how your information is harvested. It all started in 1994, when cookies were created by a programmer at Netscape Communications named Lou Montali. You may not know who he is, but he changed the world more than you know. These early cookies were innocuous. They would allow people shopping at an e-commerce site to store their items in a virtual shopping cart and other info to customize the experience. When you visit and interact with a website, its server responds to the various requests and transfers the requested website data to your browser, including a small text file called a cookie. The cookie contains a unique identifier for you and relevant data relating to your interactions and preferred functionality. Each time you visit the website, the browser sends the cookie back to the website's server, which uses it to identify you and your previous interactions. These cookies are unique to each website and are programmed so they can only be read by that website. These cookies are called first-party cookies and are still in use. While less invasive than other tactics we'll cover, website developers can and often do sell the first-party cookie information. They probably disclosed it in the terms of service or privacy policy that you agreed to without reading. Shortly after Lou Montali applied for the patent for the cookie technology in 1995, marketers realized a dream come true. They realized that cookies could be shared with and exchanged between the origin websites and advertising companies. This was the birth of the third-party tracker cookie. They created the framework for harvesting your information. In 1997, the Internet Engineering Task Force was concerned about the privacy implications of third-party cookies and recommended blocking them, but the idea was too profitable, so the browser makers, Netscape, and the newcomer Internet Explorer ignored their recommendation. They programmed their browsers to automatically accept third-party cookies without any way for users to block them. But unlike first-party cookies, these cookies also contain other information about you, and any website can read them. Website developers often use functions from other websites, such as embedded videos, chat, or like buttons. Ad tech companies started providing these functions so that they could send and collect third-party tracker cookies. Some governments started cracking down on third-party tracker cookies, so websites will usually prompt you with a terms of service or privacy policy, getting you to click to agree to their cookies without reading it. After some browsers started giving users the option to block third-party tracker cookies, if not automatically blocking them, some ad tech companies try to disguise their third-party tracker cookies as first-party cookies. As more browsers begin to automatically block third-party trackers, ad tech companies have employed the technique called fingerprinting. The technique takes advantage of a fundamental way that apps and websites talk to your devices. When you browse the web, your browser automatically gives websites and linked third parties we mentioned earlier some information about your hardware. Ad tech companies build a unique identifier by combining multiple properties about your hardware that by themselves are not unique to you, but when combined become unique to you. Fingerprinting is even effective at tracking you between multiple devices. These common sites use or have used fingerprinting and/or seam cloaking. The Princeton's WebTap Privacy Project looked at the top million websites. Google had trackers installed on 75% of the top million internet websites. Facebook, now Meta, was on 25%. Twitter was number 3 with 10% of the websites containing their trackers. The study also found that websites send your information to at least 34 third parties on average. Twitter admitted to letting advertisers access its users' personal data. Twitter claimed it was due to a software bug. Advertisers could access email addresses and phone numbers and cross-reference them against other data, all without people's permission. Remember that Chinese spy that infiltrated Twitter?